Wilder to me. Wilder hasn't fought a real pressure fighter in that prime.
Yeah, but Ruiz not a pressure fighter. He's a counter puncher. He's gonna let you set the tempo of what's going on.
Right.
Now, I got issues with that statement. Not that Andy Ruiz is a counterpuncher, more so that Andy Ruiz is not a pressure fighter. He's a counterpuncher. For me, he is a pressure fighter who counterpunches well and uses that speed. He'd be silly not to use counterpunches. But he uses pressure, and if he gets in range, he's not going to wait for you to throw punches. He will punch if he gets in range. So, I've sought other opinions on this, and check out this chat I had with Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News for clarification.
Opinion.
I would label him a pressure counterpuncher, kind of similar in a weird way to Pacquiao. You see, Pacquiao, he likes to engage people to make them engage and then throw his punches.
Yeah.
And Andy Ruiz, he does the same thing. If Andy Ruiz was just a counterpuncher, he wouldn't be stepping off of the jab in exchanges. He likes to pressure, and then he likes to revert to type and counter, and then use his speed. Thor Hamer, a prime example of that. He would pressure, Thor would exchange, and then boom, Andy Ruiz, he'd duck and he'd throw the punches. Another good example of that was against Joshua. If you notice Joshua, he was trying to do the countering, but the second Joshua started to open the exchange as Ruiz came forward, Ruiz would step back and then use his speed to burst.
Yeah. So, I think the consensus with just us two would be that he's like a hybrid, I guess.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
a very dangerous one. A very dangerous one. He's extremely difficult to beat because of his bursts, his exuberance, the ability to step off of the jab, the way he's able to turn just out to the side. Sometimes he feints out that jab to the body. People will try and go backwards, and then boom, he comes forward, throws the punches. It's a very beautiful style.
I think also when there's not punches being thrown, when people are posturing and looking for opportunities from both sides, Andrew Ruiz seems to be the one who's coming forward and putting the mental pressure on as well. Forcing the fight.
He tries to dictate the area. Yeah, he tries to also dictate the area of the ring, because if he gets people towards the ropes or within a couple feet of the ropes, he knows he can get them off balance, and he loves to do that. He's not the type of guy who likes to just sit in the center of the ring and posture with you. He wants to force you backwards. He wants to force you into thinking about what he's doing. And it kind of comes from a shuffle, step in, pause, step in. You go to throw your jab. He sees, steps back, board.
He wasn't that successful as an amateur, but he certainly had a lot of experience there. And he's brought that experience with him to the pros, and it's finally paying off for him. Okay, so...
And when he was a young pro, he was sparring with the likes of Evander Holyfield and stuff, who was still a pro at world level at the time.
Exactly.
So people forget Evander Holyfield actually should have become a world champion roughly about the same time he was sparring with Andy Ruiz when he fought against Nikolai Valuev.
Yeah. I guess we should probably try and define somebody who is strictly a counterpuncher. Would you put maybe Luis Ortiz
a heavyweight?
Sorry?
A heavyweight. I wouldn't say Luis Ortiz is strictly a counterpuncher, because he can do both. It's hard to think about. I would in some ways say maybe Brian Jennings. Brian Jennings is a counterpuncher. He prefers you to come towards him. If you're coming towards Brian Jennings, he's going to have a lot more fun than when he has to chase you, because he can then use his reach.
Okay, that's a good point. Do you think Edget Cabiel's getting close to that sort of bracket as well, or is he just a boxer, you would think?
He's just a boxer. He's a stick and move fighter. He's a stick and move.
Like you said, I think at heavyweight, it's hard to pick out many fighters that are strictly counterpunchers. There's not many around. It's pretty easy to pick out a straight pressure fighter, though, isn't it? Adam,
Chisora.
Derek Chisora, Adam Karnofsky,
Jarrell Miller.
Yeah, that'd be the ones that stick out for me.
So then we ended up talking about Joseph Parker versus Andy Ruiz and what happened in that fight.
Yeah, but Ruiz not a pressure fighter. He's a counterpuncher. He's gonna let you set the tempo of what's going on.
Right.
Joe Parker would disagree.
I think so too. Yeah, he was continuously on
And
the
Joseph
back foot.
Parker can be a very good pressure fighter. He can be a very good pressure fighter, Parker, but against Andy Ruiz, he didn't have that luxury. He couldn't pressure him at all.
And he was leading a lot of the time. So, for me, that's firmly a pressure fighter. Yes, he uses counterpunching as one of his biggest attributes because he's so fast and he can throw a lot of punches and bunches. But for me, he's a pressure fighter.
Andy Ruiz is an issue. That's what he is. He's an issue.
He's an issue for anybody.
Yeah, for anybody. You need to have it close to his speed, and you need to be able to box to keep him on the outside. That's pretty much it.
So there you have it. Both Unrivaled and I agree that Andy Ruiz is a pressure fighter and he's a counterpuncher. But also you can see here in the comments while I was talking to Mark here, there's others that do agree. Andy Ruiz is a hybrid. Andy Ruiz mainly is a pressure fighter when he's fighting lower caliber opposition. He tends to use more counterpunching when he gets to the elite level. Understandable, but still, that's still a hybrid, isn't it? I don't believe Ring IQ saying,
Yeah, but Ruiz not a pressure fighter. He's a counterpuncher. He's gonna let you set the tempo of what's going on.
Right.
is correct. Not a pressure fighter is wrong for me. Because Andy Ruiz is the one in almost all of his fights who sets the tempo. He uses mental pressure if there's no punches being thrown. If he gets in range, he's not going to wait for somebody to throw a punch. If he gets in range, his hands are getting let loose. So let me know what you think of the statement from Ring IQ. Do you think it's wrong? What do you put a label on Andy Ruiz as? Is he a pressure fighter? Is he a hybrid? Is he a counterpuncher? I think he's a pressure fighter who uses counterpunching well. Looking forward to reading your comments and getting some conversation going. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm Jono from Big Boys Boxing, and I'm out. So.